Today's January 21st, and today's quote is entitled, "Is your mission your own choice?" Our life's purpose should not necessarily be chosen because of what others expect of us. Often what others expect is the very thing we are least motivated to do. So why did I put this quote? Because a lot of us are raised in a way that we think we need to please someone above us by becoming what they want us to become, which is not bad. I'm not saying it's bad to please another person to become what they want us to become. Because, like, for example, our parents or spiritual master may have great ideas for us and goals which are very inspiring, and so we want to fulfill those roles and positions. But sometimes we're in situations where people have expectations of us that have nothing to do with our nature. And in trying to fulfill those expectations, what happens is we become discouraged, or we're not inspired, or we become depressed. So the idea of this quote is that if you have found something that's very inspiring, which you believe is your nature, then that is something you want to pursue, at least in devotional service, if not in your career as well. Whereas acting to please another person by doing something which goes against your nature, especially goes against your nature to the point where you become lifeless, you become depressed, you don't have inspiration and so forth. That doesn't make sense. Now, the interesting point is that sometimes where we get stuck is in theory. In other words, if we're just talking about devotional service, then theoretically, I should be able to be inspired doing anything. Okay, that's the theory. If I'm completely Krishna conscious and completely sold out to my spiritual master, then I should be inspired no matter what they ask, no matter what they do, what they want us to do. But the reality is that doesn't always happen. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. It may also depend on your relationship, the proximity you have to your guru, the service they want you to do, the environment, the temple you're in so many situations. But sometimes we get caught up with, I'm not inspired, but I know I should be. I'm not surrendered, but I know I should be. I'm not this, but I know I should be. And sometimes what you are is a reality in which you have to deal with, because otherwise what happens often is we don't really do what we should. We just lament that we're not doing it, and then in our present state we're not very inspired. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes we know we should do A, but we do B. Why do we do B? Because B is where we're at. B is what we can do. B is what makes us comfortable. Or B may be that very thing that inspires us. It's our nature. It's our dharma. But there's pressure to do A because A is a higher Krishna conscious principle. It's a higher position to be in. But we lament that we can't do A. We feel bad that we can't do A. We feel bad that we can't come to a higher standard, and we continue to do B. So that kind of destroys B, because now we're doing what we like or what inspires us, but we're thinking that we should be doing something else, and therefore now we're not even inspired doing what inspires us. You understand what I'm saying? So what this quote is saying is that sometimes you realize that you have a certain nature, or you're on a certain level of devotional service, and it requires attention to certain activities, certain things you can do, certain things you can't do. And as I've said before, as long as we are aware of what the higher standards are, and we want to come to those standards, that's perfect, because gradually we will come to them. But we have to accept also where we're at. And the other thing is sometimes those higher standards may not be for us, or they may not be our nature to do that, or they're higher standards than maybe most people can achieve. So we should also understand that. We all have our nature, we all have abilities. Maybe I will never be like this, and maybe thinking I should be like this will cause anxiety for me because I'll never will be that way. And then again, I come back to the situation that I'm in presently, which normally would be satisfying and inspiring, but it isn't because I'm meditating on what I think I should be that I can't be. So I hope that didn't confuse you. I hope you understand it. I think you get the idea. It's going to be different for each of you. I don't know your situation. I can't say this applies to all of you in every situation, but sometime in your life you will find that it would be better if you do this, but you're just not inspired or not good, or you're not comfortable with it, or every time you do it, you give up on it, or you're introverted and it's an extroverted activity. It's an introverted activity or extrovert. It just doesn't work. So find your Dharma, find where you're inspired, and engage happily in Krishna consciousness. Yes, be happy. It's okay to be happy. No problem. You can be happy as a devotee. That would be good. You don't have to be miserable. Be happy, be Krishna conscious, and Prabhupada will be happy.